Hi folks, welcome to Web Scraping with Python Beautifulsoup. So today I'll train you on web scraping with 3 steps. First, why is web scraping important? And I promise to keep this theoretical intro very short. Second, I'll show you the basics of Beautifulsoup, and we'll take the Wikipedia site of Bill Clinton for some examples. And in the last step, we'll build a full-fledged scraper for Amazon.com, which scrapes graphic cards, its names, its prices, its ratings, and so on. So first of all, why is web scraping important? So there's so much useful information on the web. Like you can find everything, like sport results, like company information, like product prices, competitor prices, house prices, car prices, jobs. You can find news, you can find superheroes. Yeah, basically, you can find everything on the net. The problem is, everything is there, but it's in the web and it's not always structured. So, if your boss asks you, Mark, hey, please give me the results of all Liverpool soccer club matches of the last 10 years in Excel, and you have to do it manually, you're fucked. Basically, you can do it manually, but it takes a lot of time. But if you're clever, you can build a scraper, a web scraper with Python and Beautifulsoup in 1 hour and sleep the rest of the day. So that's what web scraping is about. Basically, with some coding, you can extract the data from the web pages and bring them in any format you want, like in files, in Excels, into databases, and then form different kind of information out of it, like charts, like emails, and whatever. And that's what web scraping is about. You can even build your own data sets for machine learning or whatever for your data scientist job. So web scraping is very powerful to extract information out of web pages into a structured form. And that's it already with the first step. Now we will directly move in and get our hands dirty with Python and Beautifulsoup, and we'll take the Wikipedia page of Bill Gates as an example. All right, let's start crawling. So let's search for Bill Gates Wikipedia page, and I think I said Bill Clinton earlier. I want to crawl Bill Gates Wikipedia page. So let's try to crawl all this information from here, or only specific information, with Python Beautifulsoup. We need 2 libraries for this. One is called requests to call the URL here via HTTP. So first of all, pip install requests, which I already did up front, so you can see requirement already satisfied here. Second is you need to install Beautifulsoup, and important here, it's not called Beautifulsoup, the module, it's called BS4. So pip install BS4, and same here, I already did this up front. So then let's move to our script. Let's create a new one. Let's call it wiki py and import our 2 libraries. So import requests in the first step, and in the second step from BS4 import beautiful with a capital S here, Beautifulsoup. Then first of all, let's basically call the page. So, and let's create a variable page here. And we call the page with requests.get, and then we can enter the URL here. So basically what this does is it fires a GET request to this URL and stores the result in the page variable. I don't want to go into much detail of the requests library here because the focus is on Beautifulsoup, but let's test. Let's print out what's in the variable here. So let's execute the script, wiki.py. And we see we get a response 200, which is an HTTP status code, which basically says the request was okay, here's my result. And we can also display the page contents here with page.content. Let's print it out. And then you see you get basically all the contents from the page. Let's now start moving into the beautiful soup stuff. So basically, you see here is our page content, and we will create a new variable called soup here, and make use of the beautiful soup library here, and pass in the page content. And we need to specify a parser, and there are other parsers like XML parsers and so on. But in this case, we know it's HTML, and we want to use the HTML parser. So once this is done, let's print it out. Let's print out soup to the console. And you see again, you get all the information, all the HTML stuff from the page here, really everything. So it's so long, I'm not even sure if I can move on to the top. So to make this more easy, let's quickly save it to a file. So let's quickly see what it gives us. And let's create a new file, output.txt. Let's use encoding equals UTF-8 because I'm pretty sure there are some special characters in it, as test file, and then test file.write, and we need to cast the soup variable into a string, because we can only write strings to this txt file and not a soup object. So let's try it and execute the script one more time. So, and you see here we get an output txt now with all the stuff from the website. So you see here you get a title, Bill Gates Wikipedia, which is, I think, the stuff here on the top, Bill Gates Wikipedia. You get a lot more script information, meta information, links, all the contents from the page. Here you have let me search for this, H1. You have a headline here, H1, first heading, ID first heading, with Bill Gates as text, which is this one here. So you see you get all the information from this page here into your Python now. But this is not really beautiful right now. So you want to, if you scrape the web, you don't want to get all the information, you want to get specific information. And for this, Beautiful Soup is really, really powerful. So let's try to use some basic Beautiful Soup commands. So basically, in the first step, we printed out the whole soup, so whole page. But we could also do the same with soup.h1 like this. Let's execute and see what it gives us. And you see here, it will give us the headline, Bill Gates here. You can do this with soup dot and then query just the HTML element you want to query, but you can also do it in a different way, like soup.find. You can also do it like this, h1. Let's see what it gives us. Okay, and I think here you have to make use of this. And you see, if you print soup h1 or use soup find h1, it will give you the same result. But there's more you can do. You can use also soup find h1 and then dot text. And if you do it like this, it will only give you the text of this h1 text, so only this Bill Gates stuff in the middle here. This is how you can directly get to the information you want to know. You don't want to know all this meta information, you only want to know what's in the headline, and that's Bill Gates. All right, now let's inspect the page a little bit more. So if you go to your browser with Chrome, it's Control-Shift-I. You can get to the developer mode here. And, oh, that was wrong. Let me cancel this. Come on. Whoa, what have I done? Finally, it's back. So you can really use your Chrome developer mode here to inspect the page. And on the right, you will see which element is being marked here. You can also do it the other way around. You don't need to go here via the page. You can also go and jump around here on the left side and see which element gets selected on the left. So you can also scroll through it here and see which element is really selected on the left. And now let's perhaps try to get this content information into our Python script. And you can see here it's, come on, let me mark it. It's somehow in this div ID talk. Come on, let me click it. Div ID talk. Yeah, so basically, if you would now make use of soup find div and execute it, it will not find it because there are so many divs. Sorry, that was a wrong command. So there are so many divs in the page, it will simply print out the first one. So let me execute it again, and it will print out div class, no print ID, whatever. I think this is the first div ever. So let's see in our output. Let's search for div. And you see this was the first div which exists on the page. So this will not help you in finding exactly this div with the ID talk, but there's help. You can specify it. So you can say soup, find me the div, and then comma with the ID, and the ID was called talk. Let's execute it, and let's see what it gives us. And you see this will give us a different div. Let me scroll to the top. It will give us exactly this div ID talk which we are looking for. Yeah, so which is really nice. Now let's imagine you want to get all those headlines, early life, Microsoft, post-Microsoft, philanthropy, and so on. And you see they are stored here. Let's again move to the browser. It seems they are stored somewhere below this div. And then it seems they are in this unordered list. And then you see here, okay, early life on the left is assigned to class talk level 1. Then Microsoft here seems to be assigned to talk level 1, talk section 2. So it seems that all the headers here on the header level are being assigned with a class talk level 1. Yeah, so let's try to query this. So this is a LE element with a class talk level 1. Let's try to query this. Lee, and it's not an ID here, it's a class. And here you have to be careful. You can't just simply write class. You have to use this underscore because class is a reserved keyword. And the class was where we had it here, talk level -1. Talk level -1. Let's try to execute it. And you may already guess what it will give us. So it will give us lead talk level 1, early life. It will only give us the first hit it find. So this function find will always provide the first element. But there's another function which is called find all. Yeah. And if you execute this, it will not stop after the first hit. It will continue until it has all the records here. And let's try to use it and print it out. And you see here, now it gets all the list elements with the class talk level 1, so really a lot. Like in media, which you find here. And now let's make this a little bit more beautiful. So perhaps in the first step, let's assign it to a variable, contents equals soup find all lists with class talk level 1. And let's comment out this for a moment. And then let's do it like this: for entry in contents, print entry.text. So we only get the text here and not the rest of the stuff. So let's try to execute the script one more time. And you see now this looks much more beautiful. So you see 1 basic, 2 IBM partnership, 3 Windows. So you will really get everything which is assigned to class talk level 1, which is really nice here. So this is how you can really grab or scrape the relevant information you want to work with from the web into your script and then store it into a file, into a data frame, into a database, into whatever. So this is about the basics of Beautiful Soup, and we will make heavy use of them in our project when we write our Amazon crawler right now afterwards. But there's one step in between. So there's one issue. So you can't scrape all the pages you want in the internet. Let me look for an example. So let me go to mobile.de. This is a platform where you can in Germany, search for used cars and buy used cars. Let me switch the language to English here. And let me just execute a query here. And you see here a list of used cars which you can buy here on this platform. And let's try to crawl this with our script. So let's exchange URL here. Let's keep the rest. Let's keep the soup here. And let's print out the soup and delete the rest. Let's try to execute it. Basically, it gives us some response, but it seems to be not the page contents in this case. So there is some information, but it starts here, but it doesn't look like this somehow. And basically, it gives you a response here. Unfortunately, automated access to this page was denied. If you are interested in accessing our data, please contact us. So basically, you're not allowed to scrape information from this website programmatically. The reason here is simply so this page earns money with the data it has. So it offers APIs which you can call, which costs a little bit money per API request. So they disallowed scraping for this page. So just to keep this in your mind, you can't scrape all pages you want. There are limits. All right, time to move on to our project, our full-fledged Amazon web scraper. So let's go to amazon.com. Or first of all, I'll show you what we're gonna build. So first of all, we will go to Amazon and we'll search for graphic card. And we will find a lot of graphic card information with names, with ratings, with prices, and so on. And we'll build a scraper which extracts this information from Amazon.com and transfers it into an Excel sheet like this. All right, so let's start. Let's first of all copy the URL and move back to our script. Basically, let's copy the wiki one and paste it here and rename it to amazon.py, exchange the URL, and then let's start with inspecting the page. So let's start on the right here and see whether it gets highlighted on the left. So it seems all the results here, let me make this a little bit smaller on the left, that we see multiple results like this. And it seems all the results are here in the body. So let's open the body tag. Let's move on through all these tags and see where it get marked. And here it seems to be a div, a page where all the information is stored in. Again, there are a lot of scripts and stuff and so on. And you see here, come on, this div ID search where all the results are highlighted on the left. So let's open this div. And then it's more. So there's another div, class as desktop. Let's open this one and let's further dig down. Then there's a div which highlights the column on the left, which we are not interested in. So let's move on to the next div, and this looks more promising. This highlights again all the search results. So let's open it. Then we find another div inside. And then below we find a lot of spans and somehow we are lost. But it seems here is a span called search results, which sounds promising. And below there's another div class as result list with, and then below it seems that the single results are highlighted. So I think we are looking for this div here, div with the class as result list. So let's query this first of all in our script. So we can keep the soup, beautiful soup page content HTML parser because we just simply exchange the URL and we are transferring it into a beautiful soup object with this comment. But then we need to change our code. So first of all, let's declare a variable content and search for the div we just found on the page. So soup.find div with the class name equal to, and the name was this one here, as minus result minus list. As result list. Let's print it out and execute our script. So let me move to the bottom, amazon.py. And actually it will print out a lot. So you see a lot here, and you see it's related to the graphic cards like MSI GT 1030 and so on. So it's somehow related, but as we inspected the page, it is the complete list of all search results. And we want to get basically result after result after result. So let's further inspect it and see if we go here div via div. So it seems each search result is highlighted within or stored within a div. And it seems they all have the same class name here as result item. So if you go here up and down, you see one after the other is highlighted, and they all have the same class name as result item. So let's further drill down our query. So first of all, within the content variable, we have queried the whole search result list. And now we will go one level deeper. We will go to result list. And in this case, we will not query soup, but we will query the content, so the whole result list, which is again a Beautifulsoup object. And we will again run a find command here and again search for our div class equals to as result. And I think it was as result item. Correct, as result item. And of course, we don't want to find only the first one, we want to find all. But for the first showcase, I will only print out the first one here, execute the script again. And we have an error here, invalid syntax. Let's check it. Class equals sign and execute it again. And now we see here we get one div starting somewhere. Let me scroll up. Oh, it's a long one. So even one search result is still very, very long. I think I can't reach the top here. It's too long. But basically within this, all the information of one single search result is available. So this is within one as result item object. But as mentioned, we want to query all of them because we want to get information for all graphic cards stored here. All right, so now we are able to query the single results here, but we want to get specific information out of it. So we want to get the graphic cat name, we want to get the price, and we want to get the ratings and the number of ratings. So let's further inspect our page. Let's take this div here as an example and let's open it. There's again another div inside. As you can see here with a span, let's open it, another div inside, another one, so a lot of div inside. So this div seems to be only some header line and this div seems to have the content included. So let's move further down. This div is the picture, the image of the graphic card, and this is again the contents. Let's move in and another level down. And now we have 4 rows here. So one which contains the name, and let me make this a little bit bigger again. So one row which contains the name, the ratings and the number of ratings, another one which contains the price and further information, and 2 more which are not relevant for us. So let's jump into the first one. And there's another div inside. So a lot of divs used by Amazon here, and another one. And another one, or 2 of them, one with the name or the title and another one with the ratings. So let's move on with the one with the title. And you see here it's an H2 element, so a header element, which basically includes the title name here, the name of the graphic card. So let's try to query this H2 element in the first step. So let's move back to our script and see what we can get. So let's give it a name, title. And basically the result list now contains all, as we used find all, it contains all the results. So we need to write a for loop. So for result in result list. And now let's give it a variable name title and use result find h2 here to see if we can get the or extract the title from the web page and then print it to the console. So let's see if this is successful. Amazon.py, let's execute it. And you see for each graphic card in the list, we get the H2 element for this example, and there's a lot of insight. So there's a class name, there's an A tag, there's a span, but we only want to get this title name here. So as you remember, we can simply use a dot text functionality here and try it one more time, execute it again. And this looks already better, so you only have the names, MSI graphic cards, Vision Tech, Radeon, Gigabyte, NVIDIA, GeForce GT, and so on. But there's a lot of empty space in between. And we can get rid of it with a comment strip. So this is a standard Python string functionality which deletes the empty spaces here. And this looks already quite promising now. So we get all the names here without annoying empty space. Let's save our file and let's move on to the next one, which are the ratings. And there's two information basically. One information are the number of stars, and another important information is the number of ratings. So how many people rated this graphic card. And it seems this information is in the same div. Let's go. Here was our heading, our H2. It's in this div. And in the div below, actually, there are the ratings and the number of ratings. So let's open it. And let's have a look here. There's another div with two spans. And one span includes the number of stars and another span includes the number of ratings. So let's try to find it. What is interesting is both spans are in this div here. In this div with a class A row A size small. So let's try to query this div first of all because it contains both elements. So let's go back to our script, comment this print of the title out and try to query the stars or ratings. Let me call it stars first of all. So again, result.find. So result is each single result of the result list. And let's query the div with a class equals to, and the name was A row A size small. So A minus row A size small. And let's try to print it out. Print stars. Execute the script. And you see it will print out the whole div from here until here for one result. And then on top, there's the next result from here to here. It contains a lot of information. And here's the one we want to get, 4.4 out of 5 stars. And here's another one, 112 people rated this graphic card. And this is a little bit tricky now. So basically, we can see, let's copy it to a file, the whole div. Let's copy it to a random file here, test. See here we have the div, and this div is stored in the variable stars. but now you have no real information to get to those text information because they are stored in spans and they have kind of classes here, but it seems to be some kind of generic classes. So somehow we need to dig into the right information now with other possibilities. So let's see what we can do. So we have our stars comment here, and we know the real information is stored within a span here. So within this span. Oh, wait a moment. I think I'm wrong. Let's check. No, it's here within this span comment. But we can't just find this span because there are 1, 2, 3 spans included. And in this span, I think there's another one. So it's not so easy to get into the root of what we want. So let's try it with, first of all, with find all spans here. Find all span. And as mentioned, there are a lot of spans inside. Let's try it with the first one, because find all will always return a list, and this 0 just means give me the first list entry, and let's print it to the console and see what we get. So the first span out of this div seems to be a very long one, a real long one. Where did we execute the script? Let's do it one more time. So it's ending here, it's including another span and another span and a lot of things, and somehow here's our information. So let's try it with dot text to only get the text of the span. Perhaps this makes things already more easy. And here we are. We now get only the text out of the span, again with a lot of blank space, but this looks already promising. So let's move the strip functionality again to remove the blanks, execute it again. And this looks good already. This looks really promising. So we get the number of stars, but we don't want to get the whole text. We don't want to get 4.3 out of 5 stars. We only want to get this number, 4.3. So we can simply reference the first 3 elements of the string. And then let's include it or execute it one more time. And we see this is what we get. So we know how to query the title of the graphic card. We know how to query the rating. And now let's try to query the number of ratings. So let me comment this out. Let me call it number ratings equals, and I think the first part will be the same because it was stored in the same div. It was simply stored in a different span. So it was not stored in the first one. It was somehow stored in, I think it's the last one here. It's here in the last one. So let's try to query it via this way. And first of all, let's remove the other stuff again. And of course, we need to print it to the console. Print number ratings and see what it gives to us. And here we are. It gives us the information we want. Here it was 112 votes. Here it was 51 votes. Here it was 50 votes, but we only want to get the text. So again, let's get the text. And again, let's also strip down the text to only get the text itself. And here we are. This is the number of votings per graphic card. Nice. So what we got until here is the title, the stars, and the number of ratings. Now let's move on to the last piece of the puzzle, the price. So let's move on up again, or we have to move down, I think. So let's close this div and this div. we need to further go down until here. We find another div which contains a lot of information like shipping to Germany, more buying choices, but we only want to get the price. Let's go one more level down, and I think further will follow another level down. One more. Where we are, I'm confused. We have to get another level down. There's really a lot of levels here. And I think this looks promising already. So this highlights the price. Let's open it. And this is really nice. So this span here includes the class A price, which really sounds promising. Let's open it further down. And here you can see, here we get the currency, which is dollar, and the price numbers in the span with the class A minus price. So let's try to query it. Let's again comment out the printing, and let's call it prices first of all. And again, result find, and we were looking for a span with the class equals to A minus price. A minus price, here we are. And let's print it first of all to the console, prices. So this will give us a lot of information. We see this price is included, but it's a lot of more information we don't need. So this seems to be the whole span for one result, and this seems to be the price span for the result upfront, and this one for the result upfront, and so on. So let's examine it a little bit more. So here we have the span, and we need to come to this value here. So it seems to be another span inside here, which contains here a currency and here a text. Okay, let's try to, within the span now, we need to find the next span object. So let's use another find function, again with span, and I think it also has a class here, a class equals a minus off screen. So let's try to query this one here, class equals a dot off screen. And let's get the text of it. And let's see if this will bring us closer to what we want. Yes, this is exactly what we need. This is the pricing values, the currency and the price itself, which is really nice. But if you are familiar with data analytics, it's not really common to store both currency and the price value in one column or in one cell, because then you can't really sort. And basically, let's split this information into two variables here. So we got the text, which is nice. Let's also strip it. Perhaps there are some empty spaces we haven't seen. And then let's split it down into two variables. One is the currency, which is basically the first value of the string here. So the currency equals prices and only the first character. And the price itself is coming from the prices and the rest. So everything starting from the first character until the end. And let's print this out. Currency minus prices. Let's print both to the console. Or let's first of all only print the currency to see that it's working. This will print only the currency. And now let's print the price to see if we have made any error. We haven't. So this is nice. This is everything we wanted to have. We wanted to have the graphic card name, the rating, the number of ratings, the currency, and the price. Now it's time to store it into Excel. So for this, and this is the last step of the tutorial, we need to import CSV. If you haven't installed it, of course, you need to first execute pip install CSV. And then we need to write a file writer here. So with open, let me call it output.csv. We need to use it in write mode. And we want to avoid empty lines in between. So we'll make use of the command new line. And let's give it the name output file. All right. First of all, let's spin up a writer here. So Amazon prices equals csv.writer. And it should write to output file. It should use a delimiter, which is a comma here. And it should use a quote character. I think it's all small letters like this. And it should use a quoting of csv.quote minimal like this. And now let's write a header line here. So Amazon prices dot write row, and let's first of all write the headers. So name of the graphic card, then we want to get the price of the graphic card, then the currency, oh come on, currency, the stars, and the number of ratings. So like this, and let's execute it to see if it worked. Execute it, and I get an error here, line 10, result list content find. Oh, this was working before. Perhaps we made an error here. What is the error? Sorry for pausing the videos this long. So I found the error. It was a really tricky one. So there is no error in our code. It seems that Amazon.com blocked me because I did too many requests. And you can see this if you print out the page result here on top. So simply print out page. Let's execute it. And you see here you get a response 503, which means service unavailable. So it seems somehow Amazon has blocked me. So I'll continue the video later. All right, so finally Amazon has unblocked me, so it works again. We wanted to test if our basic CSV writer is working here. So in the first step, we only wrote one line with name, price, currency, stars, numbers, or ratings, so with the headlines basically. Let's execute it to see if it worked. Let's go to the folder and so it created an output CSV. Let's open it with Excel. And you see, here's our headline, name, price, currency, stars, number of ratings. All right, time for the final step. Now we want to write the things we crawled into our Excel. So let's remove all those print statements. Also this one. And let's move our loop into our writer here. So like this, and in the last step, basically, we need to write the title, the stars, and so on, which we execute for each result in the result list into our Excel. So Amazon.prices write row, and we start with the name, so which is stored in our variable title. Then we move on with the price, which is stored basically here in the price variable. Then we have the currency, which is stored in the currency variable. We have the stars, which is stored in the stars variable. we have the number of ratings, which is stored in the number ratings. Number ratings. Like this. This should work. This should have been the last comment. So with 23 lines of code, and I included some blank lines, so perhaps 20 lines of code, we created a powerful Amazon crawler, which crawls basic graphic card information. Let's execute it and see the final result. So we got a response of 200 again. Let's move to our folder, have a look at the generated file in Excel. And as you can see, let me enlarge this a little bit, we have in the name column all the names of our graphic cards. We have the prices, the currency, which is always dollars, the stars, and the number of ratings. And this is the final product, our finished Amazon crawler, which you can further specify. So basically, this is now only the data out of one page. Amazon result list was far more. So I think we had about 50 sites which we could scroll through. We could also automate this to make this even larger, but this is how it basically works. So I hope you had fun with the video and see you soon.